Do you think that Obama has the capacity to make the real changes to the American economy? He's tried to, roll out a series of very substantial changes. Do you think he has the capacity to turn the dice on the American economy right now and actually bring it into a successful situation within the next 10, 20 years?
Well, Ben Bernanke, who from the Federal Reserve, made a statement this past week that the recession was over.
Do you believe him? Do you think that's true?
Well, I think our circumstances are better today than they were a few months ago, but I think we're certainly not out of the woods yet. And in our business, we feel like we still have a ways to go. Our circumstances, and Mr. Murdoch made that statement also this past week, that our circumstances were better, but we still haven't gotten back to where we need to be.
And what about your own editorial policy that you've adopted at Fox News? It's notorious for its more right-wing editorial leanings. You have very strong presenters who have, in Ireland we consider them to have very conservative Republican views. Do you think, Mr Swanson, that that's the right way to go editorially with a very powerful television station like Fox?
Well, my responsibility is the Fox television stations. The Fox News Channel is a cable news organization that it runs under people that I work with, but I don't have anything to do with the Fox News Channel. In the television stations, we have one goal in mind in our coverage, which is to be fair, accurate, and balanced. And the one thing I will say about the Fox News Channel, their ratings couldn't be higher now. They're the highest that they've been in a long, long time. Glenn Beck's come in and virtually tripled the viewing audience in his time period. And so I think that the Fox News Channel presents its news in a different fashion than its very liberal competitors. And so, they like to brand Fox News differently. It is different, and you do hear more points of view on it. But as I say, that's for other people to administrate. And our stations, and we are, Fox, so we're branded somewhat the same way. Fair, accurate, and balanced is what we strive for. We want to hear both sides of all stories.
Do you think that the media in America will survive, the mainstream media? Because we've seen, of course, very old established newspapers in the States collapse because they didn't get the advertising. You've had substantial newspapers that have been around for decades and they have actually had to close their operations. And there's a lot of change, of course, going on in the media generally, and advertising has gone down. How do you see it emerging, we'll say, within the next 10 years?
Well, I think that the thing that's going on in the United States now in terms of media is there's such an explosion of platforms because of technology. Yes. And it's YouTube, it's MySpace, it's Facebook, now it's Twitter, and the older generations are used to getting their information from newspapers and television. The younger generations used to getting their information from the internet and these various other sources. And so you're in a very difficult and changing environment, and you have way more competition now. You have way more sources that draw on the advertising, and the fact of the matter is that a lot of the newspapers are under difficult circumstances. The answer is going to be nobody ever got information free, ever. And every form of entertainment that there ever was, somebody bought a ticket, whether it was a movie, whether it was a sport event, whether it was a book, whether it was a newspaper, and even in radio and television in our country, which you might have gotten free. In effect, you were paying into the advertising that went into it because it was included in the cost of the product. So I think people will finally, I know the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times are both talking about subscription models now, and I think the internet came in and it was free. Well, it can't be free. I mean, the same group that it takes to put together a newspaper in the past, to put it on the internet. It still takes the same group of people, and somebody's going to have to pay for it, or it will go out of business.
One final question to you before we go. You've been over in Dublin speaking at this economic forum. What are your views? What would be your advice to the Irish about how we can possibly leverage our American contacts to try and, improve the state of the economy here?
Well, I think the great advantage that Ireland has, it would have been a disadvantage in the past, because there's 70 million people in the world that have Irish heritage. So why did they leave? They left because they were seeking, a better circumstance elsewhere because of the economic conditions in the country. Now 40 million of those people are in the United States, and that's a huge advantage for Ireland. And because the United States and Ireland are obviously linked together and will continue to be linked together, and a lot of the dialogue that's going on in this conference that we're at is not just the United States, but it's Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and outlying regions. Is how does the Irish government and the Irish people take advantage of this huge group of people that exists worldwide in what is becoming a worldwide global media structure, global economy structure, and Ireland is well positioned to capitalize on that, I think.
Okay, Dennis Swanson, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.